right, let's bring this meeting to order. It is 18:30. Okay, don't know what that time is. Turn it real quick. Okay, let's go ahead and do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic and one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Yeah. Roll call. Grant. Present. Susie.
Present.
Michael. Present. And we're missing Neil. Neil is excused tonight. Okay. Number 2, additions and deletions. Okay, I would like to get a motion to resolution 24-01. Interfund loan to the agenda and new business. Correct? Okay. So is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mike, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed? Motion approved. Okay. Next. We gotta go to right here, right?
Consent agenda.
Yeah,
Public comment, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
No public comment.
any public comment? Nobody signed up? Okay, moving on, consent agenda. Okay, we just do,
Consent agenda includes the minutes.
yep, the consent agenda includes the minutes, personnel changes, vouchers and payrolls, contracts, and policies. Any changes?
I'd like to remove the board policy 4060 so that we can further study it at our next work session.
Okay. Any objections? No objections? Okay, motion is approved, consent agenda with the removal of policy 4060. Again,
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
oh,
There we go.
I'm sorry, I thought I asked that.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
Okay. I was thinking other, okay, any opposed? No opposed, no opposed.
How about those in favor?
Okay, excuse me, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Is the motion to remove policy 460 from the agenda is approved.
And your consent agenda is approved.
And the consent agenda is approved. Okay, anything else on this part right here?
Nope, you are good to move on.
Okay,
Tricky part's done.
tricky part is done. Excellent. Okay, so first up. There we go.
All right, so first up, we have Camden Payne, who is here. He was one of the finalists for Youth of the Year. And Shalika Trevino, who's from the Boys and Girls Club, is going to introduce him.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having us. It's a special opportunity for club kids to get to share their story. The clubs here in Rochester started 20 years ago when we got a weed and seed grant, and that was to weed out the bad and seed in the good. So thank you for partnering with us for the past 20 years. Camden is a shining example of what happens when the clubs are supporting youth. And so please welcome Camden.
Hi, my name is Camden. I have a speech that I presented in the Youth of the Year program. So that is what I'll be saying. At the age of 7, I was adopted. Not a lot of people know that, but this is my story. My early childhood was rough. I lived with my mom, who was on drugs, and my dad didn't really care about me that much. Then I met my adopted mother, which is a person I looked up to, because her problems and challenges relate to my own. Having her has been such a big help for me, but not as much as the club. From the moment I stepped through the doors, it was evident that this was no ordinary place. The atmosphere was alive with the energy of enthusiastic young minds eager to explore and learn and build lasting connections, which gave me hope for a new life, a new beginning. and thus giving me a new hope. It has helped me gain accomplishments like YOY or Keystones that I'd never be able to gain without the club. My life has been one big roller coaster, from living with my mom to losing her to even meeting new people. Now the club has put me back on my feet in the direction of going to college and gaining a life that without the club, I'll never be able to have. The club has always been special to me. It is somewhere to learn and connect with new people, such as my teen staff, Parker. He has taught me a lot, from playing a new game to also being kind and respectful. The impact of the Boys and Girls Club was further evident in the vibrant extracurricular programs that catered to a myriad of interests, from arts and crafts to sports and technology. Every child was encouraged to explore their passions, fostering a sense of self-discovery and confidence. It was heartening to witness the children unleashing their potential and developing skills that extended far beyond the classroom, preparing them for challenges that lie ahead. This incredible phase has helped me get close to my dream of becoming a veterinarian by using their programs like Youth of the Year and other ones they offer. These programs have taught me how to prepare for my future, and what I do in life is possible if I try my hardest. As we reflect on the importance of investing in our future, let us acknowledge the invaluable role that institutions like Boys and Girls Club play in shaping in the leaders of tomorrow. It is my hope that we continue supporting such champion organizations, ensuring that every child has the opportunity to experience the transformative power of community that believes in their potential. My name is Camden Penn. I'm part of the Rochester Boys and Girls Club.
Camden, very nice job. And Camden gave that speech to 300 people. I was there and I heard him do it, and he did just an amazing job. Mr. Moss was there as well, and we were able to meet Camden and the rest of his family afterwards. But he just did I mean, I wish I could have done that in 8th grade, because Camden is currently in 8th grade at the middle school. So Camden, what did you do as part of the Youth of the Year to prep? What kind of things did you go through? I know that you guys had a retreat, and then you've written your speech, and what else did you do?
So on the retreat, that's where they give interviews, because we had to do an interview with some of the people to explain of why we like YOY or other programs and why we wanted to be there. And so while also there, they had us learn how to write their paragraph and further communication skills and how to public speak, which then led up to this moment. So before we did the big old thing in front of 300 people, we went around the area and we took some pictures near the Capitol building and some of the other lakes and nature around us, which is really fun because you connect with people roughly your same age. Everybody in mine was either in high school or there's one 7th grade, which is really cool. So it was really nice to learn how to develop those skills really early on to prepare myself for like college and interviews and stuff like that.
Definitely. And what's if you could say one thing that you took away from this experience, what would be that one thing?
I took away that getting off of like electronics to like actually like participate in something is really helpful, because I learned how to connect with people my age, which I don't typically do a lot.
And I think you mentioned to me that you were thinking you would go and try to be one of the Youth of the Year finalists again.
Camden really stood out among the 4 candidates that we had, and he'll definitely be able to run again. And I wanted to publicly acknowledge Brooke. Thank you for sharing him with us.
Yes.
He's a gift to the Rochester Club. And he also took away a $1,500 college scholarship. So when he runs again, he'll have access to additional scholarship dollars. All Boys and Girls Club members have access to scholarship dollars. So thank you.
He answered the question that I was kind of thinking. I was wanting to know how he wrote the paragraph. That was the first thing that came to mind. So,
Any other questions from the board?
no questions. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done. Impressive.
Thanks for coming tonight, Camden.
Thanks for having me.
Bruce, next, Future Business Leaders of America.
Who's gonna come up and? We have a full team, and you guys will introduce yourself as you. There we go. Let's come this way.
You want us to go that way? Everybody.
This is Bridget Morris, and she's gonna introduce her kids and then tell you just a little bit about the program.
So hi, I'm Bridget Morris. I am the FBLA advisor. These are my kiddos that I have: Brooklyn Lane, Lizeth Venegas, Logan Martinez, Jaylene Totten. So they're 4 of my 7 kids that are going to state competition with us. The kids at regional competition on February 10th. I took 11 kids for the first time. The FBLA has gone to a competition in over 12 years. 7 of my 11 kids made it to state. So that was super exciting. Most of the kids were hesitant to do, like, I don't know, maybe I'll just go see what it is. I don't really want to compete. And most of those kids are sitting right here like, okay, I'm going to state, I can do this. And now they're like excited, like, okay, let's go past state, let's go to nationals. So super excited, super proud of these kids. They did a great job. We are going April 24th through the 27th in Spokane as our state competition. So some of them have already started them. The way FBLA works is you have different stages, like Jaylene, who does job interviews. She has to submit a cover letter and a resume ahead of time. So we've already done that. Lizeth is doing one of her competitions is word processing. She already has to take the production test. So she's about to do that tomorrow. And then she'll also have an objective test. Brooklyn and Logan both have objective tests as well. So big, huge tests. So they did really, really well at competition. So I will let them go ahead and introduce themselves, what their competition was, what they placed in regionals, and then I'll tell you the other 3 that aren't here. We'll go first, Brooklyn.
I'm Brooklyn Lane. I'm a sophomore and I got first in insurance and risk management.
You got what? Say, I didn't hear.
I got first place in insurance and risk management.
And what did you have to do to get that?
I took an objective test, so it's like 100 questions and you have 50 minutes to take it.
And it's all questions about insurance.
Yeah.
That's what Chris.
I believe that's part.
Yeah. My name is Lizeth Venegas and I placed 4th in sports and entertainment management, which was also an objective test like Brooklyn's. And I'm also going to state for word processing.
So what are some questions that you would have to answer about the entertainment?
Oh, so that one was a lot of like questions about like the business side of like setting up like sports teams and stuff and like getting funding for the stadiums. There's also like advertising like that pertain to like the sports teams and like player contracts too.
Excellent. And then for the word processing, what did that assessment look like?
I'm wildcarding into that one, so I didn't have to take an assessment previously, but
Okay.
a lot of the questions are just gonna be about like formatting and stuff. And then
So the word processing has 2 steps. So she has a produce where she has to produce documents in Word. They have to do a table, like a document where they're gonna have to create like agendas and meeting minutes and all that kind of stuff. She'll have to do that part of it. That's 85% of her score. 15% of her score is based off of the test. So we have 2 wild cards. So she wild carded into that, and then Maddie Beck is gonna wild card into another test too. So we get 2 wild cards. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Logan.
Hello, my name is Logan Martinez. I'm a senior at Rochester High School, and my objective test was for supply chain management.
What'd you place?
I placed 3rd out of how many people did it.
And tell us a little bit about what was that test like?
So that one, so for supply chain management is more concepts and definitions that go along with upsiding the supply chain market, as well as elaborating on different supply chain measures as well.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jaylene Totten. I'm a sophomore at Rochester High School, and I placed first in job interview, which is like a mock job interview. You make your resume, you make your cover letter, you apply for a job, has to be real. I actually applied for Grable Lodge. Hope I get the job. And I also brought in things like reference letters and some other nice things people have said about me. And then I also placed fifth in impromptu speaking, which is where you get a prompt and you have 10 minutes to prepare a speech about it, and you give it in front of a judge. You want to know who my judge was? Mr. Black. And I thought it was a lot of fun. You don't have the stress of preparing before, kind of just go in, use your noggin, and you give the best speech you can.
Do you remember your prompt?
It was what makes a good entrepreneur? Something like that.
Top 3 things
That
of
was
an-
your prompt?
Oh, yeah.
top 3 things of an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, top 3 things of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And Maddie also did the same thing, so did Logan. And Maddie placed 6th in that competition. I don't know if you were gonna say
No,
that,
you're
but-
good. You
but
can
I
say
wanted
that
to
too.
say that.
I wanted to say that.
And so
Any
this was regional competitions that you competed at.
Yes.
What other high schools were in the regional competition?
So we had Timberline, I think we had River Ridge, we had a few academies, I don't remember their names.
Pope John Paul,
Pope John Paul and Aspire. And then was Tumwater there too?
Tumwater,
Tumwater was there, oh yeah. 'cause my
Young High
advisor.
School's there,
Young.
Montecito, Elma.
Yeah, Monty. But a few like Centralia, Tenino, and some other places that we play sports against weren't there. So you didn't get to see all those people, but you got to see a lot more. We got to meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, network. It was fun.
All right, you guys wanna go back over there? I'm gonna go to the rest.
Yeah.
Don't leave me though. Logan, stay here. We got a couple more. So she talked about Maddie, so Maddie's also going to, she was our other wild card into accounting 1, which is an objective test all about accounting concepts. So she's gonna be doing that. Naomi, who is also not here tonight, she actually placed for two state competitions, the sports entertainment management. That one was a little tough on the kids, so they qualified for state, but then the problem was they had to be the top 15 in the state to actually go to the state competition. So that's why we wild carded Lizeth in for that other word processing. So she's gonna be excited about that. And then Lily, who's also not here, did an intro to business communications and she took 4th. Naomi in that same intro to business communications took 3rd. So those are both tests. So again, kids that like Lizeth and Brooklyn were kind of hesitant. Well, I'm just gonna go and check it out. Jaylene's a natural gifted talent. You know, I was like, hey, you're doing a job interview and impromptu. She's like, hey, I'm in. And Logan has been to FBLA, so he knew too. But they were kind of hesitant. Now they're like, okay, this is kind of cool. I can do this. So super excited, super proud of the kids. So there we go. You guys got any questions for us?
I do. Okay, so the FBLA program, is that like after school or how does?
So some of it's after school, some of it's during school. So we have club days too, where the kids will meet. They've actually I have really great leaders too. So they'll actually plan the club days that we have a couple times a month where anybody that's interested in FBLA can come. So they plan activities, they plan different stuff for the kids to do too. So, but it is an outside of the school day. All the competitions was on, like the competition was on a Saturday.
How do you get your recruits?
Well, we kind of, I don't know, like, I think there was a couple of them in the group and then like, so a big part of mine is a sophomore grade level. And so a couple of them did it and then everybody else is like, okay, well, I'll get on board too. And so like Jaylene and Lizeth do multiple clubs. So I think they were kind of like the spearheads of it. And then Logan has done FBLA before, so he brought Maddie in. So I think it was just kind of word of mouth, but you know, again, super proud of these kids. Like they haven't had FBLA. We had to revive it. It hasn't been in well over 12 years. So kind of cool that 7 of them made it to state. I was on the hesitant, so.
Oh, God.
I didn't get your name.
Why hasn't there been that club for that long? Just no interest or nobody kind of,
Well, the person that did business and stuff before me didn't keep it running. And then when I started last year with business and marketing at the high school, I revived the FBLA club and brought it back.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I haven't
Yeah.
done it before.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Many different clubs and
Yeah.
groups.
It's exciting. The kids are excited, so there we go.
And next we have Amy Ann Sullivan and our kids from sports medicine and medical careers.
I have a couple of things for you guys.
All right.
Thank you. Okay.
No one has. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Amy Ann Sullivan. I teach health, medical careers, and sports medicine here at Rochester. This is my third year here. These are some of my students. I'll have them introduce themselves. We are going to a competition at Tacoma. It's a state competition. Over 100 schools go there from all over the state of Washington and California. It's called WCTSMA, and it's Washington Career and Technical Sports Medicine Association. And so we're asking help to go to this. This is the first time Rochester has ever been at something like this. And if you look at the sponsor letter, and then if you turn the page, that says what we will be doing at the competition. So I'll have Erin introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a senior this year, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about like what we're expecting to see at the competition. This is the first time that Rochester has ever gone. So we're all super excited, and we're kind of going in with an open mind because none of us personally know what to expect. So it's a 3-day event. We'll spend 2 nights in Tacoma, and there are different categories that we're all going to be placed into, like different competitions, kind of like FBLA. There's knowledgeable, strength conditioning, medical terminology, anatomy, first aid, CPR, practicals. And then there's other meetings that we'll have representatives from our class go to. And yeah, we kind of don't, I mean, we have an idea. We have the second and third page is like our schedule for the whole weekend or week. Yeah, we're all super excited. It's the first time we're ever going. There's gonna be over 100 schools there from Washington, California. And yeah, Brooklyn's gonna talk a little bit about what we do in class to prepare. My name is Brooklyn Alfonso. I'm a sophomore this year. And sports med is kind of a program where you learn about like, well, first of all, you learn like medical terminology and anatomy of the body. You learn different taping and stretching and recovery in different areas of the body. And we're just,
They're super excited. I know it's, first time that they probably presented to myself too. I talked to 300 people, but it's usually what I know, what I'm talking about. And the thing about this is you don't know, we're kind of behind the scenes, okay, until someone gets hurt. So we're sitting there and you don't see us, and then all of a sudden these kids can save someone's life. So I brought an athlete to talk a little bit about what he thinks sports medicine means as well. I just think it's nice to share what he has seen us do in the community as well.
Sure. How's it going, everybody? I'm Mason Armstrong. I'm a senior this year at Rochester. I'm kind of the test dummy, I guess you could say. I've dealt with injuries all year long. I played football, baseball, and I've dealt with injuries for as long as I can remember. And especially this year, I hurt myself pretty bad. That's preventing me from going to a collegiate level. So no more sports, but without sports med, I probably would have done even more damage to myself. When I was a kid, I just keep going, smile through the pain. So yeah, they help throughout. I pretty much hurt myself from head to toe. So they wrap me up and hold me back until I'm good, and then send me on my way. And I'm usually right back. Yeah, but no, it's big help. And Amy does a bunch of the re-strengthening. I'm there while everybody's practicing, I'm there, when she's got me hooked up with all these machines and stuff, so. But I definitely wouldn't have been able to finish out my senior year or any of the years that I've been hurt, without them. And a lot of the other guys too, a lot of football players, bumps and bruises, part of the game. So, there's probably about 30-35 of us pre-practice, pre-games in there. I gotta be in there, get tapes, do all that good stuff. So yeah, big shout out to them. Yeah.
You guys have any questions?
What are the costs for you have an estimated cost for?
So we're raising, each individual is going to pay $40 to go, because I've learned in the past years that they want to be there. So you put a little bit of a price there, and then students will sign up and go. If you don't, sometimes you're waiting for them. The bus is there and they don't show up, kind of thing. But we're asking sponsors, it's gonna be about $4,000 with, registration is not an issue. It's the food and the hotel and stuff. If you can look at the, schedule, some go till 9:15. I know it's in Tacoma, but it starts at 8 a.m. And so to get the kids prepared and stuff, it's difficult if you're driving and worried about getting there on time.
How many kids are going?
Actually, there's gonna be 18 kids. So we don't have to, like others, you don't have to prepare to go to state or qualify. It is put into station. It's such a big, like I said, there's more than 100 teams, but they put in categories and they take a test, they take a written, and then they take a practical. And then with the teams that are going, the kids that are going, I'm gonna put them in where they fit best. CPR, the kids that do really good in CPR, the kids that do really good in medical terminology, the kids that do good in anatomy. There's a natamage. You saw our awesome table, natamage, there's a natamage competition. There's a JV knowledgeable. And also for the kids to just meet people, and it's not just sports medicine, it's doctors, it's nurses, it's tons of people that are going to get there. They can also get scholarships. So there's so many things that, colleges are going to be there, so they can talk to colleges if they're interested in going places as well.
Are the ones that you choose to do the CPR, are they AHA qualified?
They're Red Cross certified.
Red Cross?
Yep.
Okay.
You want to come in and help out? You think?
Well, the reason I just asked because my daughter went to school. She said, well, can you come in and teach? I'm like, I'm not sure if I can.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to get AHA qualified to do that.
Yeah.
So that I can, I can actually, I can teach you.
Yeah, well,
But I can't sign my name on a dotted line
yeah.
as of right now. So that's.
And, we encourage, I'm new to this area too, so I'm trying to get to know people around the area to come in and speak and help out. And you're more than qualified to come in, and I can, you just help me on the side and I sign.
Okay, I see.
So that's a big thing, because the kids probably get sick of me always teaching them. But when other people come in, it's a different way where they can, see how they do things. Because I tell them too, you never know who you're gonna meet. Introduce yourself. You never know who you're gonna sit by. I actually was gonna bring Band-Aids today and give each one a Band-Aid, but I forgot my Band-Aids. But it's a long story, maybe for another day. So to introduce yourself, you never know who you're gonna meet, and invite them to come speak too. So we thank you for your time. Any other questions?
So how are you going about fundraising?
So we're hoping to get sponsors. So we're going, the kids are going out to different businesses and getting sponsors. It's super hard for us in that way, is because I'm at every home event. I can't go out usually. The kids are working after school, so it's a class that they're in class, but also they're spending their time after school doing this. But they're gonna go drop off. Hopefully we get donations and stuff like that.
How do we donate?
Huh?
How do we donate? Where do we go?
To go to Rochester High School and then put sports medicine. I'm pretty sure. But thank you.
What's the deadline for the funding?
The deadline is March 23rd.
Is there a link on our school district
Website.
website? Obviously, it'd have to be on the high school. That's on the place.
Not right now, there isn't, but I'm sure we could make one.
I'm just curious. I don't, anybody who would want to donate. I'm looking at you. You're the.
And this is new to me too, to get the fundraising packets and stuff like that. So I'm learning as I go as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Good luck to you guys at state.
Thank you.
It's gonna be a fabulous. We look forward to hearing about it after you get back.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
The last one. Okay, so for everybody who just did their presentation, if you would like to leave and go home and study, do your homework. Okay, because I'm sure that everything else we're gonna be talking about is gonna be boring to you. Except the next time. But you can stay. This is the most people we've had in here in quite a while.
Yeah, they might want to hear their student rep.
So. It's up to you.
All right.
Okay. Student reps.
For this month, Robotics Club has hosted an Applebee's Robotics fundraiser this weekend on February 24th. It was extremely successful. Theater Club students also put on another play of Clue at the Sweet Hall last weekend, which was very successful from what I've heard. Very successful. This month, we've had multiple CSR guest speakers come speak with our students about music, Centralia College and how to apply there. And we also had members of Sweet Hall talk about royalty court and community service hours for our juniors. Some important upcoming dates or events for next month is March 7th. We have Club Picture Day. And finally, on March 22nd, Jocelyn comes on campus for our caps and gowns.
So excited.
I'm so excited.
I didn't see any excitement there.
And I think that's it on this.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the list we came up with.
Any questions?
Okay, so two questions. One for the cap and gown stuff. When they show up, you plan on ordering a class ring?
No,
Okay.
I got a hoodie.
What about you?
I'm thinking about ordering it online, so I wouldn't be getting it right when they come on campus, but I have already ordered my cap and gown and sweatshirts.
I was just curious because I was told by mine was, they don't do that anymore. Kids don't
Really?
order class ring.
Yeah, I think they're
Not a
kind
thing.
of, not.
I'm just curious.
That's a little outdated.
That's fine.
They have like necklaces and stuff.
Bracelets.
Yeah, bracelets. There was a couple bracelets. Yeah, but I just kind of stuck with the hoodie.
Okay. What about military recruiters? How often do they show up at the high school?
Yeah, I think like at least once a week during lunches, they have.
They come a lot.
Yeah, they come
bring
quite
guns.
often. What's it called? Pull up? Yeah, pull-ups.
Pull up?
Yes, pull-up bar. And then we also have them come in, I think once in a while, like after school. I think it was, talking about getting ready for college. We also had them come over and we talked to them for a little bit as well. I think it was the Army, and I think it may have been, I don't know. But we talked to them about that and they had a little speech, which was very interesting.
You know, there's 5 branches, right? Yep. Oh, I'm just putting that out there. Okay. Any questions? Nice job.
Good job.
Thanks, ladies. Appreciate it.
Okay. It's up on you now. Up on me now? Yeah.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thomas, I've already congratulated you being the gavel guy, and thank you. Welcome to the board. So, winter sports. So the middle school, season 3 consisted of boys basketball. Had a healthy number out this year, -5 compared to last year. 32 of those athletes are multi-season athletes. Season 4, volleyball and boys soccer, that started on Valentine's Day, and volleyball exploded. Unprecedented numbers in volleyball. Really healthy to see. Create some challenges too, though, when those numbers show up. Good to see that those numbers out. I popped in the other day like I do to practice, and I came in just kind of pre-practice, and you know, they were working on their overhand serve, and I know this, the next time I go back, I'll be wearing a hard hat and quite active, but those are great numbers to see, and in fact, they have their first contest tomorrow at home, so if you're interested at 4 o'clock at the middle school, you'll be able to see some volleyball. Boys soccer, you know, we have a healthy number of those guys out too. We were scheduled to play tomorrow, and Aberdeen don't have enough practices yet, so we have to look to reschedule that. So they will begin their contest next week on Tuesday. And there's just a little bit of a breakdown there. I like to add and share with the board that, you know, 52% of the Rochester middle school athletes are multi-season sports, and then there's a little bit of a breakdown to the right. But it's live and well at the middle school. I'm really excited about the volleyball numbers, and we're going to have to make some adjustments to accommodate that many young ladies.
How do you accommodate 78? I mean, how many teams is that?
Well, so, you know, we've typically, and you got to think about volleyball different than you do basketball. If you're teaching volleyball the right way to be ready for a high school floor, you have to introduce rotation. Can't just be, can be, but in my opinion, you don't want it to be U6 or next. U6 or next. People are attached to each other, front row, back row. So your benches, if you have a bench of 15 or 18, and you're seeing 2 games a week, which are three sets per game, there's people that aren't going to see the floor tonight if you're doing it right. So we had to be as creative as we could. And we chose, after conversations with the coaches, to create a 5th team, a 3rd JV team, and the benches are still big. So I anticipate that these numbers aren't going to change too drastically next season. And so we're going to want to stay ahead of that and see how we can best accommodate that many numbers. And we might too, and I know this has been something that has been done in the past. Of course, transportation becomes a thing, but might have to utilize another gym to really get the reps that are necessary to create skill progression for those young ladies. So,
other schools have similar numbers of teams?
You know, there are not everybody. There are teams, I think, like Montesano, for example, I think has 6 teams. I mean, it's just kind of exploded in my experience. And where you know, schools are having 90 kids come out, and then, you know, 80 something stick with it for the season, which is really good to see. You know, getting kids engaged and having them out. But again, there's some challenges that await you with those numbers. But we're doing the best we can, and it's you know, got a good set of coaches in there, and we're being creative, so everybody gets some quality time on those floors.
No cutting.
No cutting. No cutting. Yeah. Okay, high school. Winter sports. So girls bowling. I've got a little bit of a shout out for them on another slide later. Had 15 athletes this year. It's an increase of 4 compared to last year. Smart group. Acknowledged that the WIA level is outstanding team award, 3.538 GPA. Winter cheer, another group. Really talented individuals that bring spirit and energy to all of our home games, and I can't imagine them not being there. But they're fun to watch. They're deep in number, and they're just happy gals. And so that kind of energy is really healthy for a gym at any point. Boys wrestling, 35 athletes, an increase of 6 from last year. Distinguished Team Award, 3.252. Girls basketball, 22 athletes, again, an increase of 5 from last year. Another Distinguished Team Award at 3.382. And these averages, mind you, these are varsity averages. And we've got some in Running Start, and I've got to pull those grades and match them to what they're taking here. We got some people in New Market. But again, another smart group, and you can see in yellow down the left side of those athletes, how many are multi-sport athletes. Boys basketball, 27, reduction of 3. But again, another smart group with a distinguished award of 3.252 GPA. And then again, with the high school, there's a breakdown of the 53% of Rochester athletes are multi-season. There's a breakdown to the right. Small league honors. So in girls basketball, you can see Delaney a senior for us. She was voted second team all conference. She really is a powerhouse. She's kind of that hybrid, you know, she's a tall gal, so she can play that forward spot, but she's also a ball handler. You know, which makes her really, really unique, but really valuable to the basketball floor because she can do different things and make things happen off the dribble as well. And then you also have a senior in Grace Hoover, who was voted honorable mention all conference. And Grace really, in my opinion, watching her over the last 3 years, really came true to form this year. She was a presence. And the one thing about Grace, and I'll even do a shout out to Lizzie, is those are two athletes that they don't know the word quit, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming until that last buzzer. And so kudos to Grace. She's going to be missed. Delaney's going to be missed. I probably need to keep our eyes on Lizzie just a little bit too. She's going to make some noise and some things. So next. All league honors, boys basketball conference, honorable mention, Ricardo Brutini, one of our exchange students residing with the Serdals. He's a junior. Favorite sport, I think that's all he does. He is actually coming out for track, but he does know the game, you know, and he brings a little bit of Italy with him when he came. And one thing I learned from the kind of funny from Davina was that she was making spaghetti one day. And, you know, I know I do this because I don't like it slopping all down my chin. This, you know how you break the noodles in half? Well, that was sacrilege. Please expand on this, okay? I took a step back and, oh my gosh, we don't do that. So I thought that was cool, but a great kid, a quiet kid. But he does know the game, and he was a big contributor to the ball club this year. So small leagues, girls bowling, second team all conference was Maddie Beck. I had the opportunity to go down and be a part of districts down at Triangle Bowl in Longview this year. And you know, the girls bowled well, and I wanted to do a particular shout out for bowling just because I think across the winter sports they had a really pronounced amount of growth in comparison to last year. And you can take a look at the breakdown of total pins, varsity and JV in 22-23 compared to 23-24, and that is significant. And if you take a look at the district finishes, last year they finished 13 out of 13, and this year they moved up 8. And we've grown in numbers. And there's a picture of Kaylin there. She was the team leader at districts with 482 pins over 3 games. Maddie Beck, I got creative with an arrow there. It took me about a half hour to create that arrow, but I got it done. And last year he was the district team leader in the amount of pins. And I got to say, probably swimming. Well, swimming's a little bit different, but bowling. If you've ever been to one of those alleys, couple recommendations, earplugs. These girls are happy, they're laughing, they're smiling, and they've got to be the happiest group of athletes I've had the experience of being around, because they're high-fiving each other, they're chanting, they're high-fiving their opponents for doing well. And it's just a really, really neat piece of energy to be around if you ever get an opportunity to But it is loud. It is loud, but a very happy group, and we're really proud of them. Really proud of them. Postseason, this just finished up not too long ago. We had two gentlemen make it to state in wrestling. Jaden Nichols was our heavyweight, the 285-pound weight class. Their finishes were almost synonymous in the sense that they both won their first matches, and also Jack Dane at the bottom at 215-pound. Both finished 8th at state. We're really proud of them. I was up there. They won on Friday. They lost their second match. Won their third, which brought them back to Saturday. And you know, they wrestled well. And I think any time that your name can be brought up in that level of state competition, that's a real accomplishment. Just getting there, but then they're able to podium and bring home hardware. That's special. That's special. And so they finished. I can't think of a better way to begin to finish your senior year than to bring home some state hardware. So at my last report, we were in the middle of this reclassification, and it was in December that we finally got our hard count numbers from the state to where we will be classified for the next 4 years. So the threshold is 449 before you jump from 1A to 2A. You'll look at that first number, 439. That's our average head count, freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, over 8 counts last year, starting in January. The direct cert represents a percentage of the population. You might equate it to individuals who may receive some state support, maybe some free and reduced. They don't call it that anymore. It's direct cert. And if you're any percentage numbers that you are over the state average, you get to deduct that from your head count. So our adjusted classification count is 426.07, which clearly is below the threshold. So for the next 4 years, we will be single A, and our opponents in league will be Hoquiam, Montesano, Elma, and Tenino. And you can see the classification range breakdown there on the right in the red box. And we're really excited about that. And I think when you think about where we were this year, and yeah, we did have success, and yeah, we were in those conversations of a play-in game or a pigtail, you know, jockeying for that 8th or that 4th spot in a four allocations into a postseason bracket. I think what you're going to find is that the competitive equity in the 1As is going to be much more balanced than it has been the last 4 years. And I think you're going to find us in the conversations of finishing 1 and 2 and 3, and maybe not playing that extra game to play in to earn that 4th spot. So I really take this on as a great opportunity. I think it could be really a psychological culture adjustment, because your targets going into competitions can change from going up against your thumb waters, and where you're in your mind, oh, you don't say it, in your mind, you're thinking, how do we avoid a run of clock? You know, now you can set up apples to apples and begin to create some in-quarter targets that can, you know, that are attainable. They're attainable. So it's like a clean slate. And so I think we really have an opportunity before us, and we want to make sure that we approach it that way. Any questions?
Kevin, how, I thought when they went to this, that they were really trying to get them even across, knowing that the 1Bs are probably the outlier because of the really tiny schools, but how is it like 3A's got 73 and we got 55? Did they kind of go away from completely even?
They've kind of gone back and forth. You know, there's been times they've taken the number of schools and they've cut them into fifths. Yeah. And then these are your classifications. But they've kind of gone back and forth, and they're always adjusting the classifications. And there seems to be a lot of it is driven through the B schools, because there's those people that are on that bubble. There's the districts that are on that bubble from 1A to 2B. And when one grows, something has to adjust. It's almost, you can think of it like a sliding scale. Really. So in the next 4 years, when we reclassify, those thresholds could easily change. That's not going to surprise me at all.
It's also true that there is a bunch of schools that opt into 3A that are really 2A sized. There's a
Okay, I've
bunch of
seen that one, yeah.
Seattle Renton schools that opt into the 3A league rather than staying 2A.
And you know, there's also, you gotta make your case and you gotta bring some information and data to do it, but there are schools who are 3A that have appealed down to be 2A. So there's kind of this jockeying, but what I think if I learned anything from the reclassification this go around is that the WIA executive board leaders and the district directors, it was a hard sell to opt down. The number was the number. And I think that was the determination behind wanting to keep the balance, because it can get really unbalanced quickly if you don't draw a line.
However we got here, this looks better.
Yeah, you're right. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, you're
Thank you for
welcome.
being here this
You're
evening.
welcome. Absolutely. I beg everybody's pardon. We kind of had, are you? Bridget's my ride. My son's car is at the garage down there. So I had to bum rides to school and then down to here for the board meeting, and she's my ride. So we would like to take off if it's okay.
Don't let the door hit you.
Okay. All right, good night, everybody. We'll see you. Bubba, you behave. All right.
Okay, I thought they were.
Huh? I thought that was under the, when I said everybody could leave. Decided to stay. Do we need to tell them directly?
You can say.
You're a viewer, I'll ask for your choice.
No pressure.
See you next time.
Thank you for being here.
Why do you want to hang out in a room with?
Because they're there.
All right. Yes.
Can I ask a question before?
Uh-huh.
Now that it's a smaller group here. The clubs that were here. When they say they're fundraising to go or. Do they get some access to the ASB funds or not?
Yes.
So they already done that, they've already put in their pitch for that.
I think they do that after the fundraise,
After the fundraising, figure out what the balance.
when they're reaching their deadline and they maybe need a little more money.
Okay.
They put in there.
That's tough in a small area like this. Try to go around and ask people for money when there's a whole lot of businesses around, you know. You're like, I'm artist to try it.
Yeah.
Makes it difficult.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, they're doing it in a different way. I don't think any of our other groups are going out there.
Here and there.
Yeah, but for the most part, right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Soccer and little league right now.
Yeah. So.
So we watch and make sure that they get what they need.
Ready? All right.
We'll start with our enrollment summary. So our February student FTE count increased a little to 2,043. What brought our funded average to 2,039. So we are still over budget, which is a fantastic thing. Running Start, we have 90 students participating in Running Start and 35 of those are Running Start only. At Heart, the FTE increased to 41.86. The special education count was 336 and there are 8 students participating in the Gravity program through ESD. So the FTE trend is the same, the K-12 number just in visual format. So the big red arrow shows you where we are at February. I guess I could push my own. And in January, the fiscal year was 41.67% of the year complete. Our expenditures are at 41.37, so right on track. And our revenues are at 36.96%. So that decrease, the only 36.96%. Even though we're 41.67 of the year complete, it's again something we've talked about in budget, how our fund balance fluctuates. Fluctuates up and down. So you'll notice we're getting to February and March where that peak goes way down. Then April will come and we'll get a levy payment. So that is the phenomenon we're featuring because our revenues are coming in at a slower pace right now. But our expenditures are pretty equal throughout the year. So that's that big dip in February and March that we see. Any questions?
And who divvies out this money to us?
It's
Come from different areas.
yeah, so federal grants, the problem with them is they're a month behind. So we buy things in January and then we get the money in February. The state, it's written in whack that we don't just get an equal 12 divided, their money divided by 12. It's some months it's 12% and some months it's 5.5%. So that's our biggest chunk of money is our state money, and it's written in whack how much we get of that each month. So that includes our general apportionment, our special ed dollars, LAP, bilingual. So it's a big chunk of change that gets allocated on that method.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody else I had to stop and read what you were saying. Anybody else have any questions? I'm sitting here looking at this thing and I've got questions in my head, but I'm not gonna ask you because it would not be the proper. I'm gonna refrain. It's just aggravating. But anyway, anybody else have any questions? Okay, superintendent's report now.
All right, so just a few things to just acknowledge. I mean, the first part of this meeting was all about why we're doing the work that we're doing with all of the kids coming in and sharing their celebrations and the work that they're doing. It has been all month, Career and Technical Education Month. You do have the newsletter from Career and Tech Ed, and I encourage you to take a few minutes to look at that. But every February is CTE month, so it's a great time to celebrate the kids in those programs. We do have CTE pathways that students can use to work towards graduation, as if a student as a pathway to meet the graduation requirements, I guess would be a good way to say that. And so those three pathways that we have in CTE are medical science, robotics, and ASL. And since we're talking about graduation a lot these days, it's good to know that we do have those pathways out there for our kids. Next, I just want to officially thank all of our voters in the community. We passed our levy with 60.75%, which is a wonderful show of support from our community, for our kids and for the work that we're doing with our kids. Very appreciative of that. The bond was on the ballot and it received 52.66%, so more than the majority, but not enough to pass the bond since it needs 60%. And so we are now going back and looking at what we're going to do. We're going to be going out and learning more about why people voted the way they did, and then make some determinations about how we'll move forward with that. But we do want to thank all of our voters. Reading Across America. So it is Reading Across America Week, and Friday, March 1st at RPS, there's the opportunity to go and read with kids if you would like to. So I can't think of a better way to spend some time reading with a kindergarten, first, second, or second grade group of kids. So if you're interested, let me know. There are still some spots open where we could use some readers, and the RPS kids would love to see you.
And RPS will provide a book.
Yes, they will even provide a book. You're right. Or you can bring your own if you have a favorite.
Or you could bring your own.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. I got my turn.
Not under your reading material, you're wrong.
All right, next, I just want to celebrate. We had two groups that qualified for state from the band at the high school with our small brass ensemble. qualified, and then Grace Waddell, I think it was tenor saxophone that she qualified for on state. So both of them, state competition is at Central at the end of April. So they will both be going to compete.
What is small ensemble?
So that is a group of trumpets, trombones. I think there's a baritone in the group. But it's a group that's typically the small ensembles are less than 10 students, and they're all playing brass instruments.
Oh, okay.
So we did have our budget committee met. They met in January and February. They were doing the preparations for the $2 million in reductions that we need to make to build our balanced budget for 24-25 school year. That committee provided input on areas that we could consider and should consider for budget reductions. Very valuable group of people coming together and sitting down to have discussions. Learned a lot, and we're using all the information that they shared to make the decisions that we need to make and moving forward to build that budget. I think a key thing to remember there is we're really looking at how do we keep kids first, you know, in these decisions we're making. And then it's too bad Laura wasn't here tonight, but we did have a student, Erica Shuon. Did I say that right? Erica Shuon and Kevin Neeler, they gave a presentation for the Special Education Advisory Council, SEAC, which is a statewide council. And Erica explained and shared with many people from throughout the state just a little bit about her experience here in Rochester, how she learned, what she valued from her learning experience. She's in the transition program now, so she's actually 20 years old and is working as part of her education, part of her assignment is that she's working over at IGA. And then she also goes to RPS to work with some of the kids there. And so she was able to explain that and had good conversations about what was going on. Even helped some of the parents when they asked questions about what was her education like, and she was able to give them some information and share. Kevin Neeler, her teacher, was also there. He shared a lot about the transition program that we offer. He gave some information about the Reach Essentials Bank that we have, that those kids run as part of a class project, and just shared a lot of information about the good things that our kids are doing. So it was a real celebration that they wanted to hear from our kids and our teachers in Rochester, and they did a great job doing that presentation. And then I wanted to share with you that we are working on hiring a principal for RPS. We opened the application, we opened the job, I think, end of January. And it closed right after President's Day. We had 22 applicants, all very strong applicants. We did a first round interview that was a virtual interview. And from there, we've narrowed it down, and we didn't do all 22 for that. We narrowed it down and did a virtual interview with people that we screened out and thought would be best fits for the building. From there, we've identified 4 people to come in and do an in-person interview. So they will actually be with us all day tomorrow. We've got quite the process going on for them. They're going to be going and talking to parents and community tomorrow night at RPS. That's at 6 o'clock. I'm starting from the end of the day, going backwards for you. But the parents and community, anybody that wants to hear from our candidates will be able to ask questions in a structured way and provide feedback at the end about what their thoughts are on each of the candidates. There'll be a staff interview. So the staff will come in and be able to interview and do a similar method where we will take questions from the staff and ask the candidates those questions. So the staff will also be able to provide some feedback. They'll be a traditional interview portion where we'll ask them some of the in-depth questions. They're also going to do a presentation at that point, telling us a little bit more about themselves, and so we can see what their presentation styles are like. And then they'll do a classroom observation where they will go in, observe a classroom, and then come out and share how they would work with the teacher after that classroom to help them improve and grow their their practice. So that all happens tomorrow, and then Friday or Monday, we'll have a recommendation for hire. Danny is one of the applicants, and she is one of the finalists, so.
If she wasn't, somebody's doing a bad job around here. I don't know.
All right. So next we have, or just upcoming events, just so you have them on your radar. Kindergarten registration opens March 4th. Kindergarten registration is huge. We have got to make sure everybody in our community who has a kindergarten child gets them registered and does it in a timely manner, because if we need to add teachers, I want to add them early rather than later. So that's something just to think about. So as much as, if you're talking people, you know, they have a kindergarten age child, please encourage them to register. We have a work session on the 13th of March, and we have a board meeting on the 27th of March. And then we have spring break, April 1st through 5th. Actually, yeah, that's right. All right. Next thing on the agenda is our policy. Or no, I don't even think it is. Next thing
Is the
it's his policies.
old business. Oh, first reading of policy, is that?
Yep. Oh, sorry.
When is graduation?
Graduation is the
Well,
Well-
graduation, so they're before the 13th.
9th, Sunday
So
the
we
9th.
haven't nailed that down yet because of
No, it's there.
Winter?
It's the 9th,
the 9th of June.
June 9th.
Give me 1 sec. I got it. If I don't put that in here now. It's the calendar. So I had to break my calendar out real quick. So everybody knows June 9th graduation.
2 o'clock.
Okey doke. Okay, so. Policy 3231.
So I think you might want to take a motion for approval, and if anybody has any questions, we can go through them.
Is that what we are? Is that what's on for tonight, or we?
Yep, this is first reading of those policies.
First reading, right?
Yep,
So it'll be approved next.
yeah, it's. Oh. Okay, sorry.
You were confusing me.
Yes, this is just, so it's not an action item at this point. That's right. Sorry.
Okay.
But these have been proposed for first reading. So we'll correct that. And your next item then.
Next item is resolution.
Yep.
Okay. Study and, oh, okay, here we go. Study and survey. Final draft.
Yes, so this is a study and survey. Casey Wyatt actually completed this for us. So Casey, you want to give us just a little?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a quick summary of the purpose behind it and all that. So the study and survey is a document that is required by OSPI when you are pursuing SCAP funds. The process in which study and survey happens is you hire a certified building condition assessment consultant. I prepared the study and survey. It is funded by a grant, a reimbursable grant by OSPI. So basically the document is a pass-through grant. It didn't cost the district any money, but what it contains is the history of each of the school facilities and the building condition assessment that lives in the ICOS system, which is a web-based system that OSPI uses for all of their facilities related documentation. So it has also the area analysis, which is a confirmation of square footages in the building that are considered reimbursable or part of SCAP. So like the high school, the main building's 68,000 square feet. And then overall, or it's 77,000 square feet, but 68,000 square feet of it is eligible for square footage for SCAP. So I had to go through each building, verify what the actual square footage is compared to what has been recorded previously. So that when we do pursue SCAP dollars, it's all square footage cost allocation. So the state gives a certain percentage of funds per square foot for unhoused students. I'll avoid going down the rabbit hole on that one. But basically, this is a tool that is used to let everybody in the district and also on the state side. And once you are building a new building or doing a major renovation, this document is helpful to kick off that effort on where SCAP dollars will be spent and what actually is the square footages are and the conditions of each building. Any questions?
I don't have any. I'm just trying to look at this. Oh, my.
There were a lot of questions came up during the election time, right, when we were putting the bond out there about conditions and so forth, so we didn't have this posted before, this just came out.
Correct.
I don't know. I don't know if this would have helped, hurt.
Yeah, I don't know,
Or,
I mean, it's a lot of detail, right, so what
Yeah.
people go in, but there are people have questions about,
Mhm.
you know, what is the real condition? It looks fine from the highway, right? So,
yeah, and that was, I think I asked you a question one night because somebody had posted a question about the gym. Oh, why can't we keep the gym? There's nothing wrong with it, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, and that was something I asked you about because people were wanting to keep the gym. Why can't we keep it? There's something wrong with it. You know, so I don't know. I think something like this could have helped us. I mean, I'm not sure if it would have got us the other 8%, but
Yeah, this is a very detailed
Yeah.
condition assessment. If you go through the document, you'll see page upon page of condition assessment stuff. I mean, it's really down in the weeds. And yes,
Yeah.
it is a helpful tool to identify. I mean, if you read the building condition assessment for the high school alone, it rated poorly from top to bottom. So yes, I agree. It's a helpful tool. That being said, well, it is a helpful tool. I don't know that this is the correct tool to publish out to the public. A summarized version of it
right. Yeah.
would be very helpful.
And I think if we decide to run this again, however, I think we should, you know,
Well, and we did,
consider.
yeah, and we did have summary documents out there that were current facility concerns in the high school that basically took a lot of this and summarized it.
Yeah.
It's making sure everybody gets their questions answered is something that just takes time after time, which is why I think we just need to continue to do that instructional piece about.
and I think for the masses, that probably works, I mean.
Yep.
Well, it can, but if there are folks that really want to go deep into it.
Here it is.
Knowing that we have the detail back there that we could share, right?
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we can post it. Mhm.
So was this available before our last bond run?
We had it, so we could have put it on the January.
But it'll still be good if we decide to run again.
Yep.
And one of the reasons we wouldn't, it wasn't complete and available and approved by the board.
Oh, okay.
So until you guys approve it,
Yeah,
we shouldn't be publishing it.
right, correct. Yeah.
But now, I mean, hopefully tonight you sign the resolution and then, and then we have it.
And you said, or did I understand you said this is paid, this study is paid for?
It's funded by, a grant through OSPI facilities.
Okay.
So out of pocket for the district is zero.
Oh,
on this one.
It's a nice thing from OSPI.
Make a motion.
We need to make a motion to approve
Yep, let me
Study
get back
and-
to that page.
survey resolution.
Here we go. Okay, are we ready to do that now? Okay, we'll make a motion to approve the study and survey resolution number 23-17 as presented.
Second? I thought I heard you say I'm making a motion.
Yeah, or should I, what did I say?
You said I'm making a motion, so.
Oh, I'm.
Grant- then Grant
Okay, yeah, I
seconded.
thought,
Yep, then
okay,
Grant
that's every
seconded.
right to do. Yeah. Me on my first night. Man.
I second your motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I, any approved or any opposed? So be it. It is approved.
Thank you.
Clearly a lot of work to go into that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Casey, that took a lot of time. Thank you for making it happen.
It was
Fun. Okay, the next one is the loan resolution.
So this is the interfund loan resolution that will allow us to borrow money from our capital projects fund and move it over to general fund to basically cover payroll for this month. It's asking for $1,100,000, and we will have to pay back the capital projects fund as soon as we get our levy funds in. Jill, anything to add?
It authorizes up to 1.1 million. I anticipate it being closer to 300,000. But just to have that wiggle room if something were to come up and we needed the higher amount, they will only lend us to the penny what we need. There won't be additional.
And there was a question about, would we need to do this again in March if we are again short in March? And we need to check with the Thurston County Treasurer.
Each county gets to interpret it a little different. When I read it, it says beginning February 29th, we could loan. If they think that means on February 29th, they can loan. Or does it mean from then on, we can loan up to the 1.1 million. So we'll have to see if what their interpretation is to see if we need to do it again next month.
Depending on the interpretation, we likely will, based on Eric showed us, we're not going to get the revenue.
Right, but if we only need 350,000 this month and we need 350 next month, if they interpret that to mean anytime after February 29th, we could do a loan.
Right.
And this is why we're doing the budget reduction process, because we don't have the fund balance right now to cover every month if we.
We didn't default on anything, did we?
No,
that's why we're
we
doing
are
this.
going to.
Okay.
And the nice thing is, I mean, this is something that hasn't happened in the district for more than 20 years, as far as we can tell. 30 years. The nice thing is, at this point, at least we do have an internal fund that we can borrow from. I guess when it happened previously, that wasn't the case, so.
We are not the first in our ESD to be doing this.
And we're one of many in the state.
So this is, we're not borrowing from ourselves then.
We are essentially, we're borrowing from one fund.
That's what I thought.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
And then when the April release from state
Mhm.
comes. Move back.
It goes back, yep.
And we have to pay interest then
Yes.
to ourselves.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's right. That's what Justin asked
Like
earlier today. I'm like,
if
yep.
you work for the government, you have to pay taxes
Yeah.
to the government.
Even if you don't work for the government, you gotta pay taxes.
So.
Okay,
Really?
okay. All right, anybody like to make a motion?
So move.
I'll
Second,
second it.
okay. All approve or all? Aye. Yeah, all approve?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed, it is approved. I had another question for her now. I can't think about it. Yeah, it wasn't. It obviously must not have been. I don't want to know the answer. Okay. Yes. Who's speaking on reference to this one? Anybody?
No, maybe I'll just put you on, we just need board approval. Because
Okay. Robotics going. Yeah.
So this is a field trip, overnight field trip, and anytime we have kids taking an overnight field trip, the board has to approve it. This is a March field trip for the robotics kids and the drone, robotics and drones and welding, I think. And NASL, to go to state, which is in Tacoma again. And yes.
Extra locks.
Yeah, we're gonna.
This is the group we're not gonna have to worry about, yeah.
I had a question about this equipment and stuff. The welding. How do they?
They take care of it. I don't know, everything's, yeah, they take it and it'll be all secured,
The welding's not a big technical, so they have the equipment, we provide the kids.
but they do take some stuff.
Yeah, very few, very little.
Very well, yeah, because I was thinking about the tanks and all that. I didn't know if we had to move all that stuff. That's why I was just curious about that.
I have a question. For the chaperones, it says 3 of them are school staff, 1's a volunteer. Do the volunteers have to have background checks?
Yes.
Anytime we have somebody volunteering, especially when they're gonna be alone with students, then they have to.
Oh, where at?
And the volunteer in this case happens to be the wife of one of the teachers.
Oh, okay.
So
Just checking.
that way we have a female chaperone.
Say that again, I missed that.
It ends up being the female chaperone, the volunteer.
All male teachers, we have to have a female chaperone taking those.
I just remember I took.
Oh, okay, I missed that where I wasn't. I was like, why is there an issue with there being a female?
Oh, yeah.
Not an issue, just good to have.
Okay,
And ladies.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, would anybody like a motion to approve? Move to approve? Second? All approve?
All in favor?
All in favor, excuse me. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, measure is approved. All right, next. Oh. Okay, next one, last one is any public comments?
No one signed up.
No one signed up? Okay. Anybody got anything they want to say tonight? Anything? Anything else before we close this out?
Good job, Chair.
Excellent. Thank you very much. 53. And it is. Yep, 1953, so moved, adjourned.